Hi! Big first Twitch stream. Here we go. So this was me on my first ever venture into content creation, and how awkward was I? Yeah, a little bit closer, aren't I? I don't know. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Hit the bulldoze button, hit the bulldoze button. Right, hopefully the bulldoze button isn't too loud for you. Sometimes when you're playing this game, if you haven't, like, you know, fiddled with the audio settings, the bulldoze sound just goes. That's crazy loud. I remember feeling super nervous. It'd taken me literally months, even years to be honest, to get the confidence up to hit that go live button. And finally I did it. And I remember feeling super chuffed that I managed to pull a maximum of 3 viewers on my first stream. Because my worst fear had just been the thought of sitting there talking to myself for 3 hours with that dreaded 0 staring me in the face. But thankfully, that didn't happen. And it gave me the confidence to carry on. And thank goodness that I did, because in my second stream, a familiar name popped up. That will do as that main road. This one is also going to be super important. Eggsy is now following. Eggsy, welcome. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. Very, very much appreciated. And welcome on in. Eggsy, a well-known and very talented map maker who I knew through Overcharged Eggs community, popped into my stream, and I nearly crapped myself at first. I wasn't sure whether to acknowledge that it was in fact the actual Eggsy, so it took me a moment to do that. Right, here we go. Boom. But following that stream, Eggsy started to give me a lot of encouragement with my city's ability and shared my next stream on Eggs Discord. And I was not, and I'm still not good or a fan of self-promotion. So him doing that was a massive, massive help to me. And I'm eternally grateful that he did do that. But with that, he inadvertently became my unofficial manager. And there were many jokes made about the level of commission that he would earn from my channel. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and thanks to Eggsy, my Twitch audience had steadily grown. Yeah, very secluded indeed. That's exactly the word. Maybe that path off the other direction can store the toilets. What the hell? is that right? Are my eyes working here? Oh my god. Overcharged Egg has a really good modular build. He does. Thank you for the follow, Overcharged Egg. Holy crap. And then there was one night that I was chatting in Eggs Discord, and Eggsy was yet again bigging up my content and encouraging me to start a YouTube channel, which is something that I'd always dreamed of but had never had the guts to just go for. I distinctly remember the conversation as Overcharged Egg popped up and said that if I was to start a channel by the new year, he would share my video on his community tab. Now, anyone who knows me well knows that I cannot turn down a challenge. So there I was, sat in front of the PC, ready to record my first ever YouTube video, which I had been planning for quite a while before that, I would add, but just never had the guts again to just go for it. And boy, I never in a million years expected what was to come next. Hello, FewCandy here, and welcome to a brand new Cities Skylines Let's Play series. And in actual fact, this is my first ever YouTube video. So we are here on the stunning Taka Toolo. I literally fell off my chair with an almost heart attack several times over the next few days. I could never have even fathomed that these massive channels and some of my absolute favourite YouTubers would somehow find, let alone share, my content. This gave me the absolute dream start to my YouTube journey, helping me achieve YouTuber partner status within 10 days of my first video and 6,000 subs a little over 3 weeks in. I know I'm one of those incredibly, incredibly lucky few to have had a start like this, and believe me, I can't even express my gratitude and amazement at that whole situation. I still get absolutely full-body goosebumps thinking about it now. But above everything, you guys, the subscribers, and your comments full of kindness and encouragement, which have just flooded in right from the start and still continue to this day, is what keeps me motivated and fills my heart with warmth and love and just gratitude for all of you. You guys are the ones who have helped me reach a milestone that I never thought was possible. 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Oh my goodness, like I just don't have the words to describe, honestly, and I'm getting emotional here sitting talking about it. So what I want to do is focus this video on you guys and your amazing, generous and often hilarious contributions to the FewCandy YouTube journey. So here we're going to take a look back through Auridon so far, the city that gave me 10k subs, and that city would not be the same without all of you. So here's a massive montage of the city so far and some of your comments and contributions along the way. I think my favourite part of episode 1 was definitely the 2 school builds, the little elementary extension onto the playground and the high school campus there, and you guys certainly agreed in the comments as well. However, I look back on episode 1 now and I absolutely cringed. I used the same music for every time lapse, and I put my time lapses on, I think even one of them was 10 times speed. Such a mistake. It pretty much gave you motion sickness watching that episode. So episode 2 saw the start of the Few-C fusing process with our Woodpecker's brewery build, and when I got episode 1 out, all I wanted to do was get episode 2 out because I hated that mass zone generic industry area more than anything. And this episode was really when you guys started talking about my detailing, and it's not stopped to this day, so thank you so much. I so appreciate that. I'm super proud of this build. And special shout out to Haraya for the comment about the security gates. That properly made me laugh. Love that. Thank you. And the next episode saw the first little look at some key work in Auridon with the Woodhaven waterfront build, the harbour and the lovely little tram line that runs along the front. This is actually still one of my favourite builds in Auridon. And the funniest thing about this was I had so many comments from you guys commenting on the tiny little path that I put across the harbour and the fact that it didn't line up with the walls. So I did go ahead and fix that in the next episode. Hope you guys appreciated that. But the comments about kids falling off did make me laugh a lot. And this build genuinely took me hours. Those keys, wrangling them was like a nightmare, honestly. But actually, I think the results shone through. I was so pleased with how this came out. Now, one thing you guys will not know about this oil build is that I nearly scrapped the entire thing and started over because I actually wasn't happy with how the oil fields look. However, this remains one of my most successful episodes to date, largely thanks to a share from City Planner, but still you guys seem to really enjoy this. I actually had no dislikes on this video up until a couple of weeks ago, and it still only has 1 dislike. Please don't go and make that anymore. And there was one comment that really stood out to me on this video from Ro. I always put YouTube on to fall asleep, but your videos are so interesting that they kept me up. Haha, loving this series so far. On to the next video. And Sarah also agreed, saying that she's going to blame her lack of sleep on this series. That really made me laugh. Thank you. William's Point is another one of my favourite areas actually, and it was this episode that I started to get some funny comments. Hashtag save the donut squirrel because of my hatred of that stupid rotating squirrel. I also had some comments comparing me to Miranda Hart as well. And this episode also saw the start of my sinking rock obsession, and there was also a lot of love for the little disco dance floor detailing element. So on to Bill Air, which saw the start of our rich district on the islands of Auridon, and there were so many comments on this video that made me laugh. In particular, James Smith. This really made me want to eat the rich. I'm not sure what you meant by that, James, but that still makes me chuckle now. And another comment from Nick Belomo, nothing like looking out of your condo window and seeing grandma sunbathing at the retirement home. In relation to me plopping a retirement home in the middle of the rich district. That really made me chuckle. And this episode also saw the start of the comments about my strategy in building. A lot of you mentioned the fact that it always looks a little bit weird and you're like, no, that's not going to work at first, and then the detailing brings it all together. And since this point I've had so many comments along the same lines. Just gotta stick with the build. And these little mansions are definitely one of my favourite areas in the whole of Auridon. Absolutely love how these came out. I'd definitely live in one of these. The one with the infinity pool. And then on to my first venture into a major intersection on YouTube, and I did describe myself as not being an intersection master, which threw several of you off. Particular shout out to Matteo for your comment, flipping the table. That really gave me some laughs, thank you. And in this episode we also built Auridon its first transit hub and another high school park, which you guys seem to really like, but I did inadvertently call people who place buildings manually ploppers, which upset a couple of you. To my first ever YouTube live stream. Now on Twitch I was streaming to a maximum of about 40 people at its peak. This topped out at 270 and I could not believe it, and you guys just showed so much love throughout that stream. I was really nervous about streaming to that many people, but you guys were amazing. And this was a stream where I got my first ever super chat. Thank you, Overcharged Egg. And now this area continues to probably be my favourite place in Auridon. The view from the quay now to the downtown, now that that is in, is stunning, and I'm so proud of this work, and particularly the fact that I did most of it on that stream. And particular shout out to Brad Stanton. You are crazy, Brad. You live in Australia and you still make my Sunday evening streams almost every time. Like, thank you so much for your crazy support. Absolutely love you. Next up, we built our Witch Doctor Medical Campus and our first real venture into high-density residential housing. And I wanted to make special mention to Nicole, who was 8 months pregnant at the time and said that my videos helped her get through the day. That absolutely warmed my heart. And Nicole, if you're out there anywhere, I really hope that you and your baby are healthy and well and happy. And this was also the first time that I got a hilarious comment off Sarah Ducky, who continues to always drop funny comments in. Absolutely loved your chef dining. Can't wait to dine here again comment on this video. So funny. Thank you so much, Sarah. So many laughs from you. And of course, a big shout out to Witch Doctor. Thank you so much for being a patron. You were there right from the start and you're still there. Thank you so much for all of your support. So a lot happened in episode 10. We built our first quarry, Lopside Quarry, appeasing my rock obsession. And we also built a small suburb on Monument Valley at the foot of a Williams Memorial. Now this is, I think, my #1 build in Auridon. Right from the start I had it planned that you'd be able to see the skyline through the archway, and the results now that the skyline are in, I'm just so pleased with, and I hope you guys are as well. And thanks to a suggestion from V1, we did come in with a live stream afterwards where we built out and decorated up the slope up to the memorial, which made the absolute world of difference with the hedge mazes. And that live stream is probably still my favourite live stream ever. It was so funny, so full of innuendos about dragon mounting and preparing to mount and all kinds of various different things. And of course, let's not forget, lower the hedges. Those of you who were there will know what I mean. And of course then we have a Carina Marina. Carina, thank you just so much for everything. I just don't have any words to describe. You are a massive, massive support to me. A mod, a friend, a Patreon, a member. I love you so much. Thank you so much for all of your support. And actually one of my favourite things within this little build was the transformation of the Fountain of Life and Death. I think it turned out super nice. I was really pleased with that one. So by building out Stanton Island's ferry system, we finally got people actually using our ferries, which was very exciting indeed. And this episode, of course, had a gazillion sinking rocks in it as well. Matt, Biffa hasn't rung. He doesn't want his Titan of Rockmaster back. I'll keep it. And a very special shout out again to Brad. Thank you for being a mod and a Patreon and a massive supporter, Brad. You have your whole island now. So onto our first campus build, and I think my highlight of this was the little tiny use of keys just to raise up the main campus administration building at the front of this plaza there. It worked so nicely, and there were a few comments about the use of keys. Thank you! And as we did take the University of Madison, Wisconsin as inspiration, there were a lot of you who had been there, were alums or lived in there, and commented on the fact that it was quite like it, so thank you again. A special mention to Jake Thorsten for his comment. I absolutely love that, that made my day. Our Sevenoaks City Park saw our first venture into the larger park builds within Auridon. Thank you so much, Kyle Sevenoaks, for being a patron. I so appreciate you. And we've got our 7 victories in the park as a special commemoration. And the race train track running through the park really kind of divided opinion on that. You either loved it or you hated it. So, Dodgy Rocks, where do I even start? That stream was absolute chaos, madness, hilarious, oh my goodness. Never had so much laughs, honestly, ever. Special mention to Jen for coming up with the name Dodgy Rocks. I absolutely love it and it fits perfectly, and now it has gone into all of Auridon lore. This stream was absolutely covered in comments about meth and murdering and hiding bodies in the pit of the quarry and drug dealers hiding out in toilets in Rocky Horror Park. It was just madness and I absolutely loved it. And it was you guys who made this stream what it is and made this build what it is, gave us all of that lore for Auridon, and this kind of really was one of the pinnacle starting points for all of that Auridon lore and the infamous Dodgy Rocks. thank you so much to everyone who was on that stream. It was so much fun. And it was a fall off my chair, crap my pants moment when, only a little over a month in, I think, to my YouTube journey, Overcharged Egg asked if I wanted to do a collab with us building in each other's cities, so an I Lost Auridon crossover. And I am still just absolutely mind blown at the fact that I have a build from Overcharged Egg in my city, and in particular, a Palaven Park, with the lone, single only Palaven tree present in Auridon. And he did an absolutely unbelievable job of it. Look how it's now blended into the downtown in the background. It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. He nailed the Auridon vibes, even if he did criticise my very, very crude and temporary placement of my ferry depot. If you were on this live stream, you would have been watching me play with keys over and over and over for about 2 hours. This was like where I started to panic because I was live, but it was still fun, and thank you for not criticising me for it. It's actually one of the best performing streams. Onto our water treatment plant, and honestly the less said about this the better. It's probably one of my worst performing videos. But I did particularly enjoy the little song that went alongside the tram ride we went on in this episode. That was fun. A special mention to Chris91 for your comment talking about, have I seen Indian trains? When I didn't understand why the tram had more people on than its capacity. That made me laugh. Thank you. Massive suburban sprawl episode with Aurido and Auridon't. Kind of spelled off the use of Bob as a verb thanks to Ross Campbell and Kyle Sevenoaks' comments. Absolutely loved it. Bobbing off was the new phrase. A special mention to CJ for shouting out the Healthy Weeds supermarket massive fusing event there. I absolutely loved that asset, so I was really pleased that someone shouted that out. Thank you. And also a special mention to Mike Lee and Paul Raymond, two people who watched me almost every week on Twitch, for actually bringing back some of those Twitch memories, the Full House stream, and of course, Trees in the Road. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. The Student Nightlife District stream saw a lot of chat about the crazy, scary, kind of wonderful clown heads. And also a lot of chat about drunk students throwing up in the park and needing benches to sit on and burgers to eat after their night out at the nightclub that we called the Library, even though it's actually next to the bookstore. Yet again, this was another fun stream, and you guys just throw so much love at the streams. It's just my favourite place to be on a Sunday evening, honestly. And next up we had a Shot Glass Company. Special shout out to David Shot. Thank you so much for all of your support as a Patreon and along my whole journey. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now this has actually turned out to be one of my favourite ever industrial builds. I mean, we've still got more industry to build in Auridon, so time will tell, but I was so pleased with how this came out. I mean, it does have rocks in it, so that tips the balance for me. And special shout out to Adam Timothy for your comment on this video. I could not agree more. Everything about this whole journey and this whole game, bringing people together, is this amazing community, and it absolutely is a great time to be alive. I could not agree more. And finally, Dave Ullman, you are absolutely right. I cannot say Dodgy rocks with a straight face. So the rural churchyard build was definitely dominated by Iggsy's suggestion of putting the cathedral in our nice little European suburbia village. A suggestion which has since come up numerous times across various different streams. But in particular, a special shout out to Thomas Keating, who St Thomas's is ultimately named after because of the comment of the screen, which was, "Holy crap, a church with an outhouse." Made everyone laugh. Absolutely loved it. Thank you so much. So when I made the festival area, I really didn't think that I would ever top it. I thought that this was the absolute peak. I was super proud with how this build turned out, and just the volume of sims that were coming into this festival site was unreal. It made so much money because of all those people coming in through the gates. And the comments that you guys left on this video were just so nice and so kind. It absolutely blew my mind. I felt like this was the point where I really sort of started to step up my game in terms of trying to think outside the box from all the standard builds. And it seemed like you guys recognised it in the comments too. A special shout out to Lucas Chang for your comment. I would love it if Ed Sheeran came and played at the Burning Tent Festival. Oh my goodness, Skidmark Junkyard. I was actually crying on stream on this one. Mags, you were absolutely right. I was broken. This was so funny, so full of toilet humour, but actually I'm really proud of how the scrapyard turned out in the end. And Samble, I love that you spend your Sunday evenings watching me pile burnt out card on top of each other. Eggsy, what can I say? This whole journey would not have come along as it has without you. I've got no words, honestly. I've got no words. Thank you so much. And a lot of you mentioned that this was your favourite build so far in Auridon, and I'm so pleased about that in honour of Eggsy, the amazing map maker and just a huge support mod friend. Patreon member, everything to me. Thank you. Just, oh, thank you. And Minor, yeah, I'm really sorry. I kept saying Old Street Market. I can never get that right. Ah, Canalodon. Now, again, at the time, this was one of my favourite areas of Auridon, and I would definitely live here. It's a toss-up between that and the Infinity Pool mansion. And again, you guys just threw so much love at this video. It was so overwhelming. Thank you just so much. And Durant on floors. Yes, I only need a tiny bit of those massive sinking rocks. And Dave Ullman. Yeah, you would not believe how much time I flashed away in that little cutscene. That ziggurat key work. Honestly, it took about an hour just to get that in, and I definitely could not have added it to the episode because it would have been painful to watch. So in the Aurifces build was when we first started doing that natural waterfront overgrown look that has continued throughout Auridon's downtown, and you guys really loved it too. Thank you so much. Thank you for the Auridonut suggestion, Kyle. Doc Martin, you just gotta stick with the videos. Nicola, thank you so much for your comment. It's your dream city. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And Neha, no, thank you for all of your support throughout this journey. And Jordan, it may be visually pleasing, but my music taste is definitely not ASMR savvy. The highlight of the Stadium Plaza streams was definitely Travis Jesus Brown walking on water. That gave us all a lot of laughs. And David Shot, your comment. I'd like to think that after each game the players thank Travis for their win. Absolutely love it. Gave me so many laughs. And Edward, thank you for your comments across these streams. It really is about community collaboration for me, streaming, and I love the input that you guys did. And I'm so glad we finally had a poll that gave a useful answer instead of the 50-50 results that we got in early streams continuously, I would add. So we finally made it to the downtown, which was long awaited by a lot of you. I had comments throughout the series like, can't wait for the downtown, want to see you do a skyline. And honestly, skylines are fun and I do enjoy making them, but they're definitely not my strongest point, I don't think, when it comes to City Skylines. But again, like, you guys were so nice with the comments. And one thing you don't know is that actually with the Downtown Road layout episode, I redid that 3 or 4 times. And I actually had a whole version. I'd nearly recorded a whole episode and decided to completely scrap it and start over using Detroit as the inspiration because it just didn't work for me. And I think what we got in the end with the lovely semicircle flowing down to the plaza in the middle next to the transport hub really worked so well. And Jim Wanshu, loved your comment. As people say in your native tongue, damn tan. Love that, made me laugh a lot. Thank you. Mithlon, thank you. Your comment on the Downtown episode really struck a note with me. You said that there's not a spot that feels like it doesn't have a purpose in Auridon. That means so much to me. I put a lot of time and effort into planning all of these builds and making sure that everything feels cohesive and all of the builds flow together a lot. So that really meant a lot to read that. Thank you. Auridon Pride Park was yet another hilarious live stream, and this build did not turn out at all how I expected when I first started it, and it was all because of your suggestions in the comments, and it turned out amazingly, I would add. But I just love that community spirit and the involvement that you guys have in the builds on the live stream. I just so appreciate all of the suggestions, and special props to JJR. Your comments in that live stream were hilarious watching it back. Special shout out to Jennifer Farmer from this stream for your crazy donation, and also Franklin, like feeling guilty for bringing up Skittles. That was a whole funny conversation. And also a shout out to Gorgonzola. Your comments always make me laugh, and you were on fire on this stream. Now this stream seriously divided opinion across the community. In fact, 99% of you I'd say absolutely hated the Blunder Dome by Marmite building. But Clef Black, I just want to thank you. You were probably the only person apart from me that actually quite liked it. And Jane, a used hanky? Really? And a special shout out to Rich for this stream. We got the Titan Atlas wheel in there. Thank you so much for being a mod, Rich. And Arutha as well. I love the fact that you always watch the streams back even if you miss it, and the fact that you follow chat. I think chat is what makes these streams. So Auridon's District of Arts had to be named after Trev OS. Trev, thank you so much for all of your help and support and an amazing artwork across the community. For those of you that don't know, Trev OS designed my new logo, my new FewCandy logo, so that is all down to you. I absolutely thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think the highlight of this build for me was definitely the maze. Someone challenged me to do it. I think it might have been Trev. I may be wrong, apologies if I'm wrong. But of course, I can't turn down a challenge, so then we have our hedge maze. And special shout out to both Gilham and Twins Will Do. That was the first time you commented on my videos saying that you don't usually comment, so thank you so much. I so appreciate that. So the General Teaching Hospital was to honour Jen, a massive member of this community, which would just not be the same without her. Thank you so much for becoming a mod, Jen, and thank you so much for all your crazy support. You are just invaluable. I love you. But let's not forget what happened in this live. There's some really cute little detailing in that city as well, so I definitely want to do something with it. Why am I on the water tool? I don't... Oh my god! Oh my god! Disaster struck! I've just killed off Auridon, everyone. I've literally just killed off Auridon. Oh my god. And another honourable mention to TrevOS for devising this 1x1 commercial challenge. As he knows, I hate the 1x1 assets. And hey Trev, you called me a chicken, but I did it. And now on to the Okie Dokie Loki Wildlife Park. What can I say, Okie Dokie Loki? You followed me on Twitch, you were a patron right from the offset. I so appreciate you, and I really hope that you like the park. And I can't say sorry enough for the glitchy cinematics at the end of it. So sorry. But thank you for all of your support. And you guys really like this park. I got several comments saying it was the best build they've ever seen. Thank you. And to Nadia Smith, I know what it's like to be a knackered parent of two, so I'm so glad that I can give you some entertainment in watching the city come to life. Thank you. And now this train intersection was an absolute monster to plan, but I think it turned out really super good. It literally solved all of the train problems. However, you're now watching cinematics without any intercity passenger trains because yet again, they seem to not be spawning into my map. But your words of love and encouragement on this episode were so nice as well. I was kind of expecting to get the train haters in, but I really didn't have much of that at all. Special mentions to Keith, recognising the how it works kind of thing, and that style of video. Thank you, Keith, for that comment. Sinsky saying it's a train spotter's wet dream. That really made me laugh, thank you. You can nerd out all over it. And Jack, yes, you are totally right. I massively overused the word similarly in this episode. Oops. And CJ, definitely reschedule your meeting. Trains is where it's at. So Auridon came about by actually a pretty happy accident with me just playing around with the pier assets in the Green Cities buildings, really realising that I could sink them into the ground to get the piers nice and up close, and I absolutely love how this turned out. Ahmed, your comment about there being lots of mosquitoes in the waterfront housing really made me laugh. Thank you so much for that. David as well, recognising the time-lapse music. Yes, it's my jam too. And Mita, John, Andrew, Mackie, Jude, all of you. Oh, thank you so much for all of your kind words on this episode. Sarah Ducky, what can I say? I promised you a bigger docks and here you go, you got the full-on massive port. I so appreciate you, Patreon, a member, a massive super chatter. You are just insane. I love you. Your comments are hilarious. Happy flappy cracky dancing. I'm so pleased that you were happy with the port build. Just thank you so much for all of your support. Now, I really thought at the time that I peaked with this port build. It performed really well for me for the algorithm, and I thought this is it. It's downhill from here. But as we know, there's some special builds still to come. but I really, really loved how this port turned out. There is an insane amount of props in this one port, and it was at this point I realised I had more props in the city than actual Sims. And of course I have to mention Aris and your just seriously heartwarming comment. It actually brought a tear to my eye. It was so nice. It is the nicest comment that I've ever had and means so much coming from you because I know you followed the journey from the beginning. Oh, thank you so much for that comment. It absolutely blew me away. Now I can't talk about Few-niversal Studios without mentioning Bobby London. This was all your idea. I literally hadn't occurred to me to build a movie studio until I read your comment suggesting it. So thank you. I owe this one to you. And this was absolutely my favourite build in Auridon at the time, I have to say. But it still is one of my favourites. And you guys absolutely loved it. There were so many comments about it being unique. So I was so pleased that you guys enjoyed this, and a lot of time and effort went into this, but it was so much fun to build. I really, really enjoyed every second of it. However, for some reason the YouTube algorithm didn't like it as much, and it's actually performed really badly, which devastates me because I absolutely love this build. But hey ho, some things go well, some things don't, and we live and we learn from it and we move on. So I usually hate building amusement parks, but actually I had a lot of fun building Auridon Towers, and I think it kind of frames the downtown really nicely, bringing in that Auridon greenbelt design to it as well. And I just want to shout out to Cherryberry. Your comment really warmed my heart. Genuinely don't know anyone more dedicated, detail orientated, etc. Insane. Thank you so much, Cherry. I really try hard with all my builds, so it's so nice to see that recognised. Nürburgring, where do I even begin? This combined my two favourite things, Cities Skylines and F1, and I just absolutely love how this came together. And this has absolutely changed my channel in the last couple of weeks. I've gained so many new subscribers, and without having a big boost from a share from a big channel as well. So just off my own back makes me feel incredibly proud. I'm so grateful for all of you guys, for all your love and encouragement on this. It really keeps me going. As I speak, this is actually now almost 1,000 views ahead of my How to Start City, and it's still getting hundreds of views an hour. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me, and it's been a roller coaster ride watching how this video is performing. I never expected that. I'm so glad that you guys liked it. And special shout out to Brad Winter with your comment about how you love how my city is more than just a city and it's not just a downtown skyscraper grid with endless suburban sprawl. That's exactly what I want to try and avoid in all of my builds, so I'm so pleased that you wrote that down and recognised it. It really made my day to read that. Thank you. And another special shout out to Christine Savage for my first ever super thanks on this video. Thank you so much for that. I'm so glad that you've loved every minute of my build since you have started watching from the beginning. I so appreciate the super thanks. Thank you so much, Christine. Overall, I'm just blown away with the love from this video. Again, I'm going to get emotional speaking about it. I could never have dreamed I'd have a video perform this well, so I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that it's the F1 track as well. Literally days of work went into this. Thank you to everyone in the community. You blow my mind all the time. Tina6993, you're another really special person within my community. You were there on the Twitch streams right from the start, a massive supporter, a Patreon. Thank you so much for all of your support. And a special shout out to Zach Johnson for your comment on this video. Why am I not a city planner architect? That's so flattering. I mean, I'm not. I've never considered myself a city planner. I just really like playing this game and building cities that look nice. Thank you so much for your comment. Now I have to start this segment by making a massive apology, and that is to the Titan Atlas, Rich. I failed to shout out in this episode that this was actually his idea from a comment from the port build. I am truly sorry, Rich, and trust me, there is going to be a mega build named after you in future, so I hope that that will make up for my massive faux pas of not shouting out the fact that this was all your idea. Thank you, and thank you so much for being a mod, a Patreon, a massive supporter, a friend. Thank you, Rich. Love you. And a special little shout out to Sarah B and Daxter as well for recognising that overhanging building over the canal. That was another happy accident, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And Ilka, your comment really warmed me as well, thinking that I'd run the risk of setting my own standards too high. But you also like this area, so thank you, Ilka. Thank you for all of your support. But this isn't the end, there is still so much more to come in Auridon and future builds on this channel, so I just want to finish by just saying thank you again. 10,000 subscribers, holy freaking moly. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all.